Damn. Hey, family. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I would like for everybody to give a 2-second, if you will, thought process. A little prayer for your ancestors that have sacrificed so much for this country and gained so little. I think a lot of us don't recognize that enough, although we carry their cellular memory inside of our DNA, inside of our very lifeline, our bloodstream. We can feel them, and that's why we feel so, I believe, connected when you see slave movies. Not just the cruelty of it all, but the passion of it all, good and bad. Somebody probably saying, what could you have said that's good about slavery, right? Well, good, because most babies died at childbirth. So if you had a baby that survived, that was good. If the master's wife didn't kill your baby, that was good. That was good. And whether you were a mother in 1865 or 2026, being mother has the same protective energy around it. And to have your baby snatched from you, to have your baby stolen from you, to have your baby die at birth, all those things are very traumatic on the human psychic, and well, thanks to Dr. Claude Anderson, he brings a lot of information about our history, and a lot of y'all don't know him, but we know about George Washington and other scholars or other leaders, so-called. When I think these thinkers and these philosophers or these educators should be more embedded in our psyche, so we can kind of take what they did and use it as a roadmap to where we going, because we are different, but we the same. We still members of the human family, but we are different, and there is nothing wrong with acknowledging your difference. The white man got a beauty all his own, right? The China man got a beauty all his own. Every member of the human family got a beauty that's all their own, and we are no exception. So when something good happened, because during that time a lot of the babies were being killed, they were so marginalized unless they could be seen and used as profit. So colonial graveyard for slaves was discovered on the southern tip of Manhattan. Workers discovered Negro burial grounds. That's what we talk about in, what is it, Central Park. A cemetery dating back to colonial times, while excavating a site for a new office tower. The cemetery contained the remains of at least 400 slaves and white paupers. That was the poor whites. Y'all didn't get to be buried with the other white people because y'all was trash. Archaeologists suggested that it was the most significant U.S. archaeological discovery. Thank you, y'all, for bearing with that word. Of the century. It was the greatest of the century. Analysis of the remains of children indicated that a possibility of 50% of New York's slave population had died at birth or within the first 5 years of life. Bone analysis indicate that many of the rest were worked to death at an early age, by the age of 7. Did y'all hear what I said? I don't believe you heard me. No, I don't. I said archaeologists suggested that it was the most significant U.S. archaeological discovery of the century. It was the only pre-revolutionary black cemetery known in the United States. Analysis of the remains of the children indicated that possibly 50%, oh Jesus, of New York's slave population died at birth or within the first 5 years of their life. Just being born and living past 5 was a big accomplishment for a slave mother. Bone analysis indicated that many of the rest were worked to death, and dead by the age of 7. And some of y'all won't get your 7-year-old to take out garbage. Some of y'all think y'all kids don't supposed to work at all. They won't even take out the garbage. They won't even pick up the paper around the yard or rake the leaves. And here we talking about babies that worked from sun up to sundown till their bones fell apart. So that's what I mean, you know. It's deep when you live amongst monsters. Capitalism, and for the love of money, you know, people was mistreated so bad. And I don't want to see nobody coming on this site talking about, well, blacks sold blacks into slavery and blah blah blah. Like I told you, American slavery differed. It was not indentured servitude. It was chattel slavery. And unless you know the difference, don't even come back with that. Unless you know the difference between indentured servant and chattel slavery. Because our brothers and sisters didn't know what they were selling us into. I don't believe that. They sold us. Yes, they did. And they need to be dealt with because of that. But nobody needs to be dealt with like the master that was over here in North America. That did them people, my people, the way he did. That's a whole different slavery we talking about now. You just heard me in a few videos back talking about you could treat human beings like beasts. A child only living to 7 if he gets past birth. Man, these are the things y'all shouldn't try to keep out of school. In my opinion, These are the things and the stories we need to talk about, so we could have formed a more perfect union. But what y'all want to do is hide the truth. And be sure your sins will find you out. Because you can't run from God. You can't run with your darkness and think the light ain't going to keep shining on it. And that sooner or later your sins will find you out. Okay, family, what y'all think about that? Leave your comment below. Tell me what you think. If you like what you hear, subscribe and share my channel. And I'll see you in the next one.